All right, guys. Episode 8. Holy shit, we're here. We've arrived. Episode 8. What a crazy journey. Episode 7's been really great. Gotten a lot of great feedback on it. Yeah. Our listens and downloads have significantly gone up. So we appreciate you guys. All right, guys. So episode 8, we're going to talk about some stuff today that's going to be really good. Of course, we have our word of the week. We actually have a guest today on today's episode, Harry Goldstein. We're going to talk a little bit about, sales versus entrepreneurship versus, 9-to-5 job. So stick around for that one. And then we're going to dive into a topic that I am deeply intrigued in. Right now, the big thing in movies is multiverse, right? So Spider-Man in the multiverse verse of madness. The Flash movie is supposed to have a multiverse scenario in it. But is the multiverse real in real life? And is there a way to kind of tap into it if it is? We'll talk about that. Also, guys, of course, Angel's Angle. Always. We're going to figure out a name for that. That's going to stick. And then we have, as always, our Q&A. We appreciate you guys' questions. So make sure you submit them. And even if it's a day where we're not asking for them, just send them over. All right, man. So, you know what? Real quick. This is not in our topics at all, but NFL moves.
Oh, shit, dude.
So, I mean, there's some shit that happened.
Tyreek Hill to the Dolphins?
The Dolphins are stacked, bro.
The Dolphins on their offense have Tyreek Hill, Mostert, and Waddle?
Yeah.
Dude, what?
Yeah. And I mean,
fastest offense in the league,
let's put it this way. If you give Tua all those tools,
I don't think he could do it, but
I don't know, man. He's a talented kid.
I don't know, man.
We'll see. I mean, it'll be exciting to see what comes of it. But Tyreek Hill is a huge addition. I'm pretty sure they picked up a left tackle as well, if I remember correctly. Maybe not. But obviously, they got the offensive coordinator from the Niners, so it'll be interesting to see similarities between the Niners' offense this last season and the Dolphins this next season. And I think Tua, if he has protection and the right tools around him, can do some phenomenal shit. So we'll see that. The other big news, the Dolphins signed Terron Armstead from the Saints. So they got a big-ass left tackle. They said they signed him to a 5-year, $75 million deal. To be a left tackle. You only have to be like 6'7", 6'8", and, fucking fast on your feet.
I know, right?
So that happened. So we'll see what the Dolphins do.
Who else?
Honestly,
that was
kind
just
of
the big one.
A few, like smaller moves. I mean, you got, what's his name? Jackson. I think where did he go? I think he stayed with the Patriots. Yeah. J.C. Jackson, I believe he stayed with the Patriots. And then Malcolm Butler is signing back with the Patriots as well. He's the guy that made the interception on the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl. So that'll be good for the Patriots to have him back. But that pretty much covers NFL news.
I saw a stat that said this free agency that, like, between all the free agents that got traded or, like, signed new teams, I don't remember the exact number, but it makes them a combined 39 Pro Bowl appearances between all of them.
That's crazy.
Like a huge deal.
Well, this whole trade period and, like, all of that has been crazy. Like, no one was off limits. When Tyreek Hill moved, I was like, holy shit. How did the Chiefs give him up? But
Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers without their wide receiver one.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes for them. Also, Za'Darius Smith, that was originally with the Packers. He went over to the Vikings. The Vikings also picked up a few pieces.
The Vikings could be good.
I still don't know if Kirk Cousins can do it. But
no, definitely not. But, I mean, sometimes he's pretty good.
I mean,
every other 2 games or something he does really good.
And then, of course, Fournette stayed with the Bucks, of course, because Brady came back. And then, Marcus Mariota. That's going to be exciting.
Oh,
the Falcons.
He's to the Falcons?
Yeah. And they
they
traded Matt Ryan away to the Colts. So he will be a Colt. So I
thought Matt Ryan was going to be a fucking Falcon forever.
No, it's the way it was looking. And then all of a sudden, boom. And the Saints are sticking with Jameis Winston, which I think...
That's a good move, I think.
He's good when he's good, and he's bad when he's bad. So
yeah, he is.
We'll see how that turns out.
Eating W's.
He was kind of a clown. All right. So now that we got the NFL news out of the way, we have our word of the week.
Yes, sir. And that word is gratitude.
Gratitude. All right.
What does gratitude mean to you? I feel like I always go first. So.
I do. That's how it is. Well, I mean, gratitude to me can mean a couple different things. Practicing gratitude. One of the things that I think about every day, even when I have, like shitty night's sleep or something, as I wake up, I go, well, okay, last night sucked, but I'm alive. I'm breathing. I got another day to go kill it. Whatever that is, whether it's work related, whether it's enjoying the day with the family, I got another day. I'm grateful for it. Going back to having a lot of friends that didn't make it to this point. Every day I'm grateful that I'm here. Yeah. What about you?
Mine's pretty similar, but I think that instead of being directly grateful for like things that are right in front of me, like obviously I'm very grateful that I get to wake up every day, that I have woken up every day, that I have all like my family and my friends. But I think I'm more thankful for like the opportunities that are, I guess I'm more grateful for the opportunities that I've been able to take lately and like that are presented to me. Because I mean, like being like when you have your solid like family and friends like that I do now, like my family is very solid. I think that you don't want to take that for granted. However, you don't need to directly. I think you can. How am I going to say this? I think you can not worry about other things more, but I can kind of focus more on what I'm going to be doing rather than what I need to be doing. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I'm very grateful for like the opportunities that have been presented to me and like the people that I've met that give me insight and knowledge, and like even if it's like a 10-minute conversation, like I'm very grateful for a lot of these things that I've done lately. Bless you.
My bad.
And it always comes out of the blue, like that conversation you had with that old man that we talked about a couple episodes ago, and like you don't realize like in a moment maybe how grateful that you could be for those conversations, but like some of those have like super long lasting effects on your life, and like
that's true.
I think those are things that people should be more conscious about and be more grateful for. It's like those small details in life.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think that, and that's one of the things that I often talk about in just general conversations that I have with like, your mom, your brothers, is that we get so caught up, and this is a huge problem now because we all have, our phones, and we all get caught up in this, every day and like motions, and like you'll get bored and you'll scroll on Instagram or you'll scroll on TikTok or you'll scroll on Facebook, and we don't appreciate certain moments when they come, or we even miss some opportunities. Like, and I like I said in the last one, like I think that was very out of my nature. Like, there's a reason why I was put in front of that old man, and for whatever reason, my nature at that time, being, fucking 19 years old, like, I should have just said no, like, and kept on fucking moving shit. And instead I sat with him and talked with him, and it altered my mindset, So having gratitude for those things that can affect us, not only short term, but long term, I think you're keying in on something there.
Mm-hmm.
What about gratitude as a practice, though? That's also intriguing because, I mean, you got, there's several successful people that talk about, they think about all the things they're grateful for before they go to sleep, when they wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think that's very important in somebody's life, and like I don't do that very often, but like sometimes like I have to take a step back and I have to realize that I am very fortunate and that I am very grateful for a lot of things. And like I don't, like I said, I don't do it a lot, but like when things are feeling kind of rough or like I'm in a shitty mood, like it helps a lot to just take a step back and like, what am I grateful for? Like, I have a supporting family. I'm alive right now, and I got food in my fridge that I could eat. You know, like just simple shit like that. Even, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the other hand, like you can practice it for, say you have some very important business coming up, or like some very drastic life changes that you want to make, like realizing like what you're grateful for and what you can rely on before something like that happens, and like before you're thrown into the unfamiliar, can really help you get through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow. You shit, man. You stole the words right out of my mouth today. So yeah, that's. I don't think I have anything else to cherry on top for that. That is awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Going into gratitude, I'm grateful that we have our guest today. So we're gonna jump right into our interview.
Okay.
And get Harry on board with us and get to talking to him. All right, guys, we're here with Harry Goldstein, our guest for today.
Yeah.
Angel, you and Harry actually went to the same school, different grades, but yeah.
Yeah, he was, I think you were a grade younger than me, right?
Yeah, just one grade.
Yeah. Played football and, I don't know, we went to Marana High, so it wasn't super eventful, but it was super cool. I've known him for a long time, since he was a little guy. We were both little guys. And now look at him, he's got a full beard, and it's crazy.
It's crazy to all the changes that everybody makes and like the divides that we go through right when high school ends.
Dude,
it's like, boom, it's a whole different group of people. Everybody just does their own thing in a sense.
No, yeah. And I mean, when I graduated with like my friends, it's weird to like, because the only one that really didn't know who, like, what they wanted to do with their life is probably one of the more successful people that I know. And like everybody that was like, oh, I'm going to go to school, like either don't go to school anymore or have no idea what they're doing. And it's super interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. I wanted to be a firefighter. That was like my goal. I was in the EMT class and everything.
Dang, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but it just wasn't a fit for me.
Yeah. What are you doing now?
Right now I'm a sales manager and entrepreneur. I like to dabble in pretty much everything. But my main thing, I'm growing a team for solar and security this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is the company?
I work for Vivint. So we specialize in like the doorbell cameras and stuff. And the solar is a lot of fun to promote to people because it truly does save them money.
Nice. Huh. You got anything?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man. Well, I mean, my experience with Harry is vastly different than yours. I actually got the pleasure of coaching Harry when I coached for JV. He was going to be my starting outside linebacker and then got injured during practice of all things.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I still think about that all the time. It's that one step that just ruins your leg for a little bit.
Yeah, but hey, on to bigger and better things.
Yeah,
right?
I would have went D1. That was my other path. Just so Angel knows.
Yeah. I mean, you have the build for it. You're freaking lanky. Oh, man.
Cool, man. Well, so now you got into sales. And so, I mean, in terms of sales, like, we got some questions for you, obviously. But, what drew you to sales in the first place?
Wow. So the biggest thing that drew me to sales was I love talking to people. Like it's my jam to sit, have a conversation with somebody. I consider myself hard-headed. So, like debating with people has always been like a fun thing for me. And I was in a sales position before this. I was working at the car wash. I sold those little stickers you put on the car. And I got pitched this opportunity and couldn't pass it up. And it's treated me all right. It's treated me really good.
That's what's up, dude. I mean, it seems like you're really happy with what you're doing.
I am. The money is a great thing. But once it starts really coming, the real joy is bringing others that were in a position like me at a car wash, wanting more, a little bit more, and showing them, hey, you can do this and make a lot of money. And just being able to give somebody that skill has been even more fun for me than the money that I made.
So in essence, now you're coaching people.
I'm attempting to. Right now, I'm in a hiring role. I've done pretty well the past couple of years, so I've moved up, and I am going to manage a team here in Tucson where we will go and promote and offer security and solar to customers and see if we can give them value. And I'm so stoked. I got a bunch of guys coming from Texas, about 3 from Ohio, and I'm growing right here. I got like 5 so far in Tucson.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah.
Dang. Well, that's crazy. I mean, we go from high school to sales gigs to, all sorts of different changes in life. All right, well, let's do this, man. I mean, we got some questions that we want to ask you, and let's jump right in.
Let's go.
Cool, man. Yeah. So the first question, I guess it kind of correlates to like what you just said is, in your opinion, what is the biggest difference between like a regular hourly pay job versus a sales job?
I would say the biggest difference is the highs and the lows. In an hourly job, yes, you're going to get a 9 to 5, but that's what you signed up for. That's literally all you're going to get. If you're looking at a sales job, entrepreneurship, being your own boss, you're signing up for a 24/7. You're working on yourself and your team and your organization growing massively. So the highs are great. You can make a crap ton of money, but there also is lows. There are lows where I have people who don't think it's a good fit, customers that waste my time. People are rude to me. I don't make a ton of money in a week because I'm off in my head a little bit pitching. So like those lows are stuff you don't get in a regular job, but you reap the rewards of the work you put in.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I feel like the lows are the lows of the, like what you're doing are probably a lot better than the highs of regular 9 to 5, especially like since me and you chatted. I mean, I'd much rather deal with that stuff than half the stuff I was dealing with at my job.
Yeah. Another thing, like I love just being in charge of it. Like if you are in another job, somebody else can literally raise and lower your pay to their tier for how much value they think you provide.
Yeah.
And that for me, I didn't like that because I'll go into my other story later after the other questions.
No, yeah. I think I like that. I like that a lot.
Let me ask you this. I mean, in terms of, and we'll dive a little deeper into this question here. In terms of this, what do you think? I mean, because obviously 9 to 5, right? Your hourly pay usually, unless you're on a salary, but your income's always capped. There can be bonuses and whatnot, so I don't want to discount that for anybody that has a salary or hourly and gets bonuses. But I mean, really, do you feel like with sales and being your own boss, quote unquote, I mean, your income is dedicated. It's pretty much determined on how much work you're willing to put in. Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. It's also how much work you're putting in, but it's also the past work you've done. I don't know if it's Abe Lincoln with the quote that says, if you give me 10 years to cut down a tree, I'll take 9 years to sharpen the axe. There's a lot of training and preparation. Wait, I think I got a little bit off track. Can you repeat what you just said like 1 second ago?
Oh, no. Yeah. I mean, you were saying about the past leads as well, with the income and being in control of the income.
Oh, the cap.
It's determined on you.
We were talking about the cap. The cap is there. Like I said, for me, it's cool because there is no cap. My first year, I did okay. I made more than that on other opportunities that I was looking at. But it's cool because within the second year, just because I've expanded and put in the effort and the knowledge, my second year, I literally doubled my income. I doubled it in 1 year. This year, I'll say it on the podcast, projected, I want to 5X what I made last year. this year.
Nice.
And I'm going to do it. It's possible. I really need to hone in and sharpen this axe a little more and really bring more revenue to the company. Like, I'm going to create a dent in it.
I don't doubt you're going to do it at all, man. I believe that you're going to do it completely. But I mean, in terms of, let me ask you this. When you have slow months or, bad weeks where you're just having issues, getting people to sign up or getting people to, sign contracts, what's the mindset?
It happens. Like, there's slow weeks so last year was my second year. We do what's called a summer season. During my first 2 weeks of the season, I didn't make $1, and I knocked about 7 to 8 hours a day. This I don't talk about too much but it did happen, and it was super hard. And the biggest thing, I sat down with my manager and I said, like, hey, this is what I'm going wrong. He's like, it's literally all in your head. Take a step back. Remember, it's all a numbers game. All you have to do is go through the motions. And I did. And I was projected not to do very well in that year because I started off horrible. I started off 0 when everybody else was selling. But I beat everybody in the office the second year in my little office. So it was cool.
That's awesome.
But
no, man. Yeah. So, hey, you're still muted. Oh, okay. I got another one for you.
Okay.
I guess you kind of went into it a little bit, but what is the biggest negative of a sales position?
Yeah, that's pretty much what we were going at. The biggest negative, I would say, is the mental state. Like, it's really taxing on your mind, your body, your spirit to like do all this work and not see immediate results. But that's what you're signing up for in this type of job. But that learning curve, a lot of people, I'll be honest, a lot of people break like a twig in the first couple weeks because they can't get past that learning curve of people saying no, no, no until you're able to just say, no, okay, that's fine. How long have you lived here? Okay, I think you'd use this. Bam. And you're just keeping going. And then it's fun. Then it's fun. I don't care if somebody's mean to me because at the end, I'll win.
Yeah. That's a good mindset to have.
It's the sales thing is one of the greatest things I ever heard was every no gets you closer to that.
I say that all the time. It's literally perfect. And it helps if you know your metrics in the game. I know personally, if I knock 50 doors, I'll get at least one security deal and at least one solar set. And if I'm at that 50 plus door mark and nothing's happening, I'm not discouraged anymore because I've been in the game so long. I know it's like right there, like it's like one away now, just because of the past experience. I know that's my metric.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. See, and that's the thing is people forget to track their the numbers and knowing that like for example, when people get into real estate and they're making calls or they're trying to talk to clients, the one big thing is discouraged because no, I don't want to sell my house. No, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But it's just simply getting closer to a yes. That's it. And don't worry, we live in the land of Zoom meetings and all that. So, yeah, I know we heard the dog bark there. I got 2 questions for you as well here. My first question, and I'm a big proponent of education and people learning in their business, in their sales job. Obviously, as real estate, I do sales as well. So, my question to you is my first one. What book or books would you advise anyone, just starting in sales, read or, like we were talking about it before we started recording here, read or listen to? I'm a big fan of Audible as well. What would you advise?
Yeah, Audible. There's a ton of podcasts. You can just look up sales podcasts if you're really into it. There's 3 recommendations I really want to give. First one, it was the first ever life help book that just excelled me, and it was The Compound Effect. Have you guys read that yet?
That was a good
That one was really good. Basically, I think it's a good book for any person because if you're in a situation, he can show you how to get in a better position within a couple of years just by doing small daily tasks. And then the 2 sales books, I want to say The Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort. You got to know that straight line if you want to close a deal, because if you get too far off, you'll read the book and know what happens. And then the last one is The Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy, the oldest classic sales book. That's how you sell with that book.
It's crazy. That one you'd think would be outdated, and I was listening to that one actually, and I was like, wow, how does this still apply today? You know, and how is this not dated itself? But that one still applies. It's
so relevant.
I mean, the only other, let me see if I remember what the name of it was. I'm going to look real quick. I go through like these phases where like I'll either read, because we did 75 hard, and one of the requirements is you have to read 10 pages of a book a day. And the funny thing is that, you know, like Angel hadn't really read before then, because like once you leave school, you just pretty much stop reading. Even after I left high school, you stop reading. So like reading again and like actually reading sometimes is nice, but you know, doing audiobooks, because when you're driving, you know, like I prefer audiobooks or podcasts. So 2 of the modern books that I probably would pitch your way and that you should probably definitely take a listen to or read is The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. That one is great because not only is that sales, but that's overall life. And the other one that's a newer book, Sell It Like Serhant.
What is it?
That was the name of it. Sell It Like Serhant. Sell It Like Serhant. So he's one of the, you know, the stupid real estate shows where they, you know, do New York real estate and all that. He's one of those guys, but he's a real estate agent in New York City, and his sale tactics are phenomenal and work in like modern settings. So Sell It Like Serhant is another one that I would definitely advise listening to or reading.
I'll definitely check him out. I've heard a ton about that 10X book, and Grant Cardone is a nut, but he's a very successful, good man.
Yeah, he's a wild one, but he's definitely good at what he does. Yeah. Let me see here. The next question I have for you, and the last question really, and this one I think is really important, is why should people work sales over your typical 9 to 5?
For me, it was just wanting more than what I was given and seeing more than what I could make. I know at the car wash, the best guy in the company, the sales rep, making $75K. I know in 5 years, if I'm progressing through a job, I want to be making way more than that. For some people, that's fine, and sales might not be it for them. But I would say anybody who wants more, at my last job, I'll actually give the example. I consider myself a hard worker. You guys know that to a point, that I work pretty hard.
Yeah,
I'm busting my butt, and I have a coworker who's literally tired and sleeping in the bathroom, and we're both making $12.50 an hour. Like, that's unacceptable for me, and I look like a fool because I know I'm worth more than that. So if anybody feels that they're worth more than what they're making, they should get into sales. And the opportunity at Vivint is like no other. If you hit me up, we can get you through an interview process and see if we can provide each other some value.
Awesome, man. Yeah, and you know, it's funny, Angel said that in one of the previous episodes as he was talking about his previous job now, that, you know, he could bust his ass and work hard, and it didn't matter. Like, the person that was half-assing it was still getting paid the same, if not more, you know.
Because their family, friends are the managers and stuff like that. Like, it's just, it's not fun.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome, man. Well, I definitely agree with that. You know, I can tell you guys that working at the psych hospital prior to getting into real estate, I busted my ass. I got in a lot of dangerous situations because that was part of my job. And I'll be honest, I got paid $14 an hour to do a lot of crazy shit. So sales is definitely, I'm an advocate for it. I definitely think that, you know, if they want to come talk to you, They should. And let's do this. Where can they reach you?
So
they reach you?
best place to get to me, I would say Instagram #1, Harry Gold 888 is the name. And
don't worry, we'll put it down. We'll put it down on the screen for you.
Yeah, that's my Instagram. Facebook, Harry Gold. Snapchat, Harry_Gold8. All those great ways to get to me. If you reach out to me, I'll put you in the pipeline and we can see if we have time to schedule an interview and see if it makes sense.
That's awesome. Man. That's awesome. All right, Harry. Well, any last I don't know, words you want to impart on people about sales or just life in general?
I heard a great quote the other day that I think is something I want to leave with everybody. And it's 3 words: discipline equals freedom.
That is fucking gold. I love that.
That's it.
I love that. All right, man. Well, it's I appreciate you coming on and having this time with us, and we look forward to putting this episode out and sharing with people this opportunity.
Thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Man, what a great interview. I'm really grateful that Harry came on, and wow, dude, absolutely killed it.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like, I've talked to Harry since high school, but like, I just like my idea of Harry hasn't like. I mean, it's changed obviously because I know he's a successful person now, and like he's still growing, but like he's still that high school kid to me, like kid younger than me. He's all, "What's up, Angel?"
Right.
Like, yeah, it's crazy to see like how well he's doing, and it's awesome.
That touches on something, and I was talking to somebody about this. There is a certain version of you that people will always remember. And it's not necessarily about, like in my case, and I will be full, like out front with this, in my case, that was a bad thing because I used to do a lot of stupid shit. But like for somebody like Harry, just younger version of him, like even when I coached him, like, very talkative, very like, he was already outgoing, like his personality was already killer, so.
And like you said, I mean, he's always been a hard worker, so like that hasn't changed, but he's just developed that into who he is now.
He's honing his skills, so that's awesome. So again, shout out to Harry for being our guest today, and hopefully we'll have him on again sometime soon.
Oh yeah.
All right. And guys, if you want to see the opportunity that Harry's talking about, please reach out to him, reach out to us. We can put you in touch with him. If you want to know anything more about it. So, diving into kind of a deep topic that really gets me going.
Yeah, I know.
So, all right. And I'm sure a lot of people by now have seen Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man, what is it, No Way Home?
I haven't seen it yet.
I don't even remember the name of the movie. So premise of, multiverse and like different dimensions and all this and parallel universes and things like that. The movies is really cool, the way they portray it. Like, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, obviously, but, there's 3 different Spider-Mans in this next, this last Spider-Man movie that just released, came out just a little bit ago. Mm-hmm. And it's based on the concept that there are parallel universes. Now, the one difference that I think is distinct is the fact that, when you think of like the multiverse and like parallel universes when applied to our physical life, the theory is that there's parallel universes where we are all the same person, but just maybe on different paths. That one obviously brings in 3 different Spider-Mans. But we'll see. I mean, the movie was cool. I won't ruin it for anybody in the end of what happened and all that.
I haven't seen it yet.
I mean, it was all right. It was cool, but like, I think it took a long time to build up just to get to the ending. And like, most of like the best part of the movie was like in the last 40 minutes. And it's a 3-hour movie. Like, so.
You're not a huge Marvel fan, though.
But see, it's not that I'm not a huge Marvel fan. I don't like when they started stealing the concepts for the DC movies that were already laid out, that I'm like, now I look at them with a jaded eye.
Yeah.
Because, I'm Team DC, Superman all the way. But I appreciate like the Avengers movies were great.
Oh, yeah.
Infinity War, Endgame was phenomenal. Probably like one of like my top 5 movies. But I still see it kind of jaded because I'm like, you stole all of DC's storylines. But with that being said, obviously they got another Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness movie coming out. So they're really
good.
It looks like it's going to be really
It's supposed to be rated R, I think.
I think so. It's supposed to be a little more like
Dark.
Yeah. Which is funny because DC got shit for going dark. Which DC Comics were always kind of darker side, especially the Batman line, which I find funny. And I still haven't seen the Batman with Robert Pattinson because I wanted Batfleck movie. But I won't jump into that right now. But okay. Flash is also supposed to have a multiverse concept to it.
Well, that makes sense because if you know anything about Flash, like, and that, what is it? Is it just the Flash or the TV show that Adrian watches?
I think so.
Like they dive into that and like that whole aspect of it in the
like
show.
The Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline and all that. Yeah, but I don't know because there's a portion of the Flash where he goes back into the past, not necessarily a different dimension, but then you're bringing. I don't know if theirs is going to be based more on the Flash's ability to go through time, or whether it's going to have the actual multiverse premise to it. So,
well, you kind of see that in Justice League
a little bit, yeah.
Like at the very end.
Yeah,
I don't want to spoil it if anybody hasn't seen it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Well, not the original Justice League, not the 2017 version.
Yeah,
the Snyder Cut version. Okay, and the reason why I bring all this up today is because multiverse in real life. This is gonna. Some people are gonna be like, "What the fuck are they talking about?" Even you were like,
"What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, man?" In terms of the multiverse, possibility in real life, just off the cuff, yes or no? No.
I don't think so. Because it just it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. Like with what you were trying to explain to me in that video we watched, it doesn't make sense.
It actually does make perfect sense.
How?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like I was telling you about the experiment they were doing with the protons in the atom, they pop in and out of existence.
No, they don't.
Yes, you don't even know what CERN was. You don't know what that experiment is. Do you know what it is?
What did you say, CERN?
CERN.
I don't know what CERN is. Is it
a
movie?
It's basically a collider, right? And it's this huge underground system, and people joke that was the start of the Mandela effect, right? And the Mandela effect, if you haven't heard of it, it's like, for example, when I was a kid, it was Berenstain Bears. Now it's Berenstain Bears with an A instead of an E. What was it? The movie with Sinbad, where he's a genie. I forget what the name of it was, but things that just used to exist don't exist anymore or changed. But anyways, there's jokes that's what started it, is this system where they're basically colliding molecules into each other to see what reactions occur.
I've heard of that.
That's CERN.
But I didn't hear about how this is supposed to be some like huge theory about multiverse and all that. Like I've heard about like experiments on atoms and stuff, but
well, yes, but that's the thing, is that's where they also discovered that, like there's various things that happen when these molecules collide into each other. And and I can't believe you've never heard of this, but like protons literally pop in and out
but
of
they
existence.
don't touch. They can't touch. It's impossible.
What do you mean they don't touch?
What collide? What are you saying collide?
They collide molecules and atoms.
I don't think atoms can collide. I think it's impossible.
I don't think it's impossible. I think you need to read about it.
I'm pretty sure I did.
You didn't even know his name's CERN. I don't know, man. But, for example, okay. So, like some of the things and just in correlation to, while you're looking that up, some of the things in correlation to like the Mandela effect that happened that people joke are because of this CERN experiment.
How do you spell CERN?
CERN, CERN. Like, for example, when I was a kid, I remember the
Hadron
Looney
Collider.
Tunes being Toons. Now it's literally tunes as in music tunes. Curious George apparently doesn't have a tail. When I remember him having a tail.
Curious George?
Yeah, he doesn't have a tail.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he had a tail too.
Yeah, exactly. Do you remember Oscar Mayer or Oscar Mayer?
Oscar Mayer.
Yeah, it's Oscar Mayer. So, like, the whole premise of this is the fact that somehow we ended up in a different reality. And this dives into, like, a multiverse. Yeah, right now you're like, oh, my God, I'm getting a headache.
So you're saying that because of this thing.
Well, that's a possibility for why they say that it could happen. Like, for example, you were big into Pokemon when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Pikachu, did he have black on his tail or no?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. He never had it.
I'm pretty sure he does.
Nope. That's the Mandela effect. And they say that this is correlated with, CERN and all that.
I don't think that... I'm not a scientist or anything, and neither are you. So, like, I don't want anybody roasting us. But, like, when I was in school, I was learning about physics and all that stuff. And, like, we fucking dove deep, man. Like,
Yeah, but school, okay, and we've had this conversation.
and
School teaches you what exactly what they want you to know, what they need you to know.
So, but like, when you're talking about science, I don't think it's very biased. I think it's very to the point. My fucking teachers
There's a
weren't
whole
American,
legion of people
so I
right
don't know.
now that can argue with you that science doesn't apply, and we won't dive further into that. But
Yeah, well, that's bullshit. So,
clearly, yeah. But here's the thing, man. That, like, having alternate realities doesn't sound crazy, and that goes into that
it
video.
doesn't
that I
sound
watched.
crazy because we've been introduced to that through like movies and
Yeah, but outside of movies, like, well, I mean, there's a whole subset of people that talk about this regularly, but they're just not mainstream. They're considered kooks or weirdos or crazy. Like even the video I sent you, somebody probably thinks that lady's crazy because she's talking about quantum jumping. Like,
she sounds crazy.
well,
She was giving the example of a radio. That didn't make any sense to me.
so the premise of the radio was, so you are the radio, right? You're not. So the radio doesn't create the programs. right?
Somebody else creates it.
The programs already exist, and that's just a kind of like a weird example, but I get what she was saying. So, for example, if you think about parallel universes or multiverse, as they're calling it, right? That's the popular term right now, so we'll call it multiverse. Multiverse is parallel realities, different versions.
Was she
of
saying
your
that
life.
there's no such thing as past or future? Basically,
Correct.
that can't be then because
But because we only think of time as linear. That's the
because
thing.
we age, we physically age, we mentally age, and that is a linear form of time. Even if we don't have calendars or clocks or anything, that is
there's
still linear.
But there's the concept of what if we only do because we accept we do. So, for example, if we go into different old texts, people used to supposedly live for hundreds of years. I'm talking 900 years. Now we live 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. There was a concept that changed. If that's real, and I mean, think about it. It's not like it was documented that these people lived for hundreds of years. I don't see why they would necessarily make that up. I don't know if I believe it or not. I don't know. Like, I mean,
Maybe you got
yeah,
lost in translation.
you had to be there,
Yeah.
right? But the thing is that I think of it this way. Okay, I'll go back to the radio thing. The radio doesn't produce, like, if you're listening to, like, here in Tucson, we have, like, KRQ 93.7, right? The radio in your car or the radio in your room doesn't produce that program. The program's already there. Just like if you switch channels, it can jump over to 92.9, which is now a country station, I believe, which is weird. But those programs already exist. So, like, if you think about the streams of what could be happening,
Yeah, but
right?
they exist because somebody created them.
Different versions of you, though. No, but see, here's the premise. You're thinking of it as actuality, like what our reality is, that's normal. That's because we're in this reality. But if you think about it in the premise of, okay, if there's multiple versions of me and my life, like for example, maybe there's one where at this current day and age, you're in the draft process for the NFL. Maybe there's a different version of you that is a teen dad. Maybe there's a different version of you that is, you invested a little bit into Bitcoin back when you were like 13 years old because you convinced dad to do it, and all of a sudden you're a 22-year-old millionaire. There could be different versions of you, right? And all these streams happening concurrently. But depending on which version you jump into is what version exists and what version you exist in, your consciousness. So what she was saying is the radio, we are the radio. We can tune in to these different frequencies.
See, okay, so like obviously those are very extreme differences.
Very extreme.
But like, I feel like my life hasn't changed much unless I control it to. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and here's the thing.
Like I'm not moving dimensions or realities ever.
Well, but you're not also... So prior to me showing you the video, you'd never heard of quantum jumping, right?
Not really.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. When I first heard of it, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? But the more I've read about it, the more I've listened about it, the more that I've dived deeper into the subject, it seems plausible. And I mean, if you think about it, some of the most successful people in the world talk about it, not directly like this lady did in the YouTube video I sent you, but like some other people talk about it as well. And if you talk about like meditating, visualization, like things like that, that is how you proceed to quantum jump. Like, so I don't know if it's just kooky people out there that are talking about some weird stuff. Like, I think it's a possibility, but we definitely see things easier because it's an easier way to go about it if we look at things in our reality and how we accept things to be. Like, how are black holes or wormholes explained? They're literally the bending of time and space. So time.
I don't think we know what a wormhole is.
Well, we know we can interpret of it from the instruments we have.
Yeah, but we've never gotten super close to one.
That I don't know, but I mean, think about it though, man. Like, we live in so I put it this way. We live in a solar system that resides in a galaxy, and that galaxy is massive. Then outside of that, like with the new Webb telescope that they sent out, like, we're going to be able to see further than we've ever seen before. And does space end? Does that mean if the universe ends at some point, what's beyond it? And how do we measure that in time? Because the universe is, the way we know how to measure things is in time, but only because we correlate things in that way. And I don't know, I'm getting kind of on a tangent with the space thing, but like a wormhole, if a wormhole or a black hole is what scientists believe they are, right? And how they've studied them and how the light is affected by them and all of that. Time as we know it, if wormholes and black holes are what scientists suppose they are, that can completely alter what we know of time and like the speed of light. It takes, 1 light year to get to X planet or X, galaxy. But if a wormhole is what a wormhole is supposed to be, or a black hole is what a black hole is supposed to be, what if you could get there in 2 weeks? And how does that function when it comes? Like Interstellar was a great movie that kind of talked about this. Like they went to this one planet where every hour or something like that was like 7 years on Earth. So time is like very relative.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not saying time isn't relative, but I don't think that time doesn't exist. Everybody, like, yes, we created the increments of time and like the calendar and all that shit, but like, and I think the Mayans had a very different calendar than us. Yeah, I think.
I believe so.
Or the Aztecs, something like that. So like, I don't know why that changed, and like, that's very weird to me.
But I think about it, it's not really the year 2022.
No, it's fucking like,
And it's definitely not March, I don't know, whatever today is. March whatever.
24th?
My watch is asking me something stupid. 24th? March 24th. It's not March 24th of 2022. But because we say it is, that's what date it is.
No, I agree with that.
And that's where, like...
I think the concept of a calendar is stupid.
Well, the concept of a calendar or a clock, it's in all actuality, is a benefit to humans, like as a measure of what we do with our day. But, like, I mean...
I think a 24-hour day is I think it's good.
Yeah, but at the same time... Like, for example, if you live up in Alaska, a 24-hour day, because the rest of the world goes off a 24-hour day, they don't have 24-hour days all the time.
Yeah, they do.
They have much longer.
No, okay, they have longer daylight, but that is, like, 24-hour days, like, Monday,
yeah, but
Tuesday, Wednesday,
so, well, yes, but that's because it's a calendar that's created. You're still talking about the creation of what... Talking about the created day, month, week, year, you know. But anyways, that's a whole... Again, we have a habit of going on the tangents, but like... So if we think about time as the fact that it's not... Okay, let's suppose this. Even if the concept of time is what you say factual, right? The difference is that, so quantum jumping in like a multiverse situation, right? So let's say, for example, so the premise is if I want to be super successful and I make millions of dollars a year and I help X amount of people a year and I have charities set up and foundations and all this stuff to help people, there's a version of that already exists. So in order to get there quicker, quantum jumping, which is either used by meditative state or visualization, can help you to arrive there faster. Now, that doesn't mean, obviously, that's like the whole, the secret, right? Like law of attraction type stuff. Like, you still have to work to get there. But you can quantum jump into the right stream that puts you right in front of that. You know?
Okay, so I somewhat agree with that. And like what she was saying in the video is like, you're kind of manifesting the best version of yourself to help you get there quicker. And like, I think that's possible. I think if you just fucking think about it hard enough, you could do that. But I don't know if that's quantum jumping. You know what I mean?
Well, see, that's what I find interesting, man. That's where, like, there's still parts of me that, like, have a hard time wrapping my mind around the whole concept. Because I'm not just, like, like, let's all trip out and fucking quantum jump. Like, I still struggle with it. But, like, the idea is really intriguing to me because there are practices that enough people that I would define as successful, happy people talk about it. And maybe not directly, but if you listen to all the people that are willing to talk about it directly, they lay out the same things that these other people are saying indirectly. So it makes me believe there's some truth to it. So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe the multiverse is real, and in some version of it, I'm Superman. That would be the dream. And maybe you're a Mexican Batman that yawns a lot.
I am Batman.
All right. So if you guys have any opinions on the multiverse or quantum jumping, or if you're any more knowledgeable on it than we are, please, I'd love to have you on as a guest. I'd love to talk to you because it really intrigues me. And Angel over here looks at me like I'm crazy. So,
I mean, it's interesting, and I love talking about things like that, but I just don't see how that could work.
Well, I don't see how a lot of things work in this world, and yet they do. So we'll have to figure out, like, maybe talking to somebody that can dive a little bit deeper on it than we do, and maybe they'll just invite and blow. But I was just fucking reading a word and like said it out loud. It will blow both of our minds. So we'll see. All right, guys. With that, let's jump into a complete change of directions. But let's jump into Angel's Angle.
Okay, so I couldn't really think of one, but I think I'm going to kind of correlate it to one of the questions.
Well, my buddy Taiwan reached out to me, and he was talking about he's having a hard time with his clients because they're having a hard time accepting that part of the reason why they're not losing the weight they want to is because they actually aren't eating enough. And some people are really having a hard time, like some of his clients are having a hard time wrapping their mind around that and how that can be possible. What would you say?
Okay. Yeah. So, like when people think of losing weight, they're just like, oh, eat less and eat better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, everybody talks about like calorie deficits all the time.
Yeah. And that's the case. You can't lose weight unless you're in a calorie deficit. But you can't, like, for me, I have to eat like 2,800 calories, maybe more than that, to like maintain my weight. To lose weight, you want to eat, and like 2,800 calories, it's a lot. Like, that's a lot of food to eat still.
Well, unless you're eating Twinkies all day.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Like, to eat a sustainable diet that's good for your body, that doesn't have a lot of like saturated food or saturated fats and like all these like gross foods, like it's hard to eat that much because like when you eat a sustainable diet, it's a lot of food because you can't just get a lot of calories in one burger from McDonald's. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the idea of losing weight and having to eat more, like that, I think when I was in school, because I just literally ate whatever I wanted because I would burn so many calories every single day, I didn't really have to worry about it. But then when I stopped playing football, I gained like a lot of weight. And then I'm like, okay, I got to stop eating as much. So then I like stopped eating and like was barely eating like once a day. And I was gaining more weight and just looking grosser. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So like this is when I really started getting into like researching about nutrition and all that stuff. Like when you have a certain goal to reach and you want to lose weight, like you have to be in a calorie deficit, yes, but if you're only eating like 1,000 calories a day to 1,200 calories, like that's not enough because everybody has like a maintenance calorie, like a maintenance, I forget what they call it. It's like how many calories you burn just living pretty much in one day. You have to eat less than that by like maybe 100 to 300 calories, even more, but like start with that to start like your weight loss. And people think that eating just like 1,000 calories will get them to lose weight quicker, and like that'll just be unhealthy and that's unsustainable as well.
Well, plus your body, I mean, you get the argument that people say that starvation mode isn't real, but your body, if your body recognizes that it's not going to get the calories and the nutrients it needs to survive and maintain,
it's going to store all of the ones it does get as like fats.
Yeah.
So that your body is safer. So,
well, because your body's main premise is to protect itself and keep itself going.
Yeah.
Like even if you're treating it like shit, your body has what I would call fail safes. You know, and I mean, I have experience in terms of, so way back when, your mom and I had started taking Advocare products, and one of the coaches that I was working with and my mentors, Nick DeBaca, actually, he had asked me, to track what I was eating and talked about, we talked about what I eat in a day. And like at that point I was really trying to get healthy. It was like right at the beginning of my whole gym journey. And I tracked it for about a week and what I ate, and he looked at me and said, "You're not eating enough." And I said, "What are you talking about, man? Like I eat 3 meals a day. Like, he's like, "Well, what about throughout the day? Like you need to snack on stuff. Like, yeah. And he's like, "You need to eat more." And as soon as I started doing that, I started dropping weight a lot faster. And it's not like I changed So I was in the gym once a day back then, prior to even the change in food. I was still, weightlifting, so it's not like you could say, oh, well, you started eating more and then you started working out. So that's why. No, like the only thing that changed was I started consuming more food. And I mean, granted, it wasn't unhealthy food. I wasn't eating super healthy either. Like, I mean, I wasn't eating chicken and rice every day. Like, I wasn't to that point, but I did eat more food throughout the day and I dropped weight a lot faster. So, I mean, and here's the thing. I mean, I think people, so if you don't watch the YouTube or you haven't seen pictures of us, we're both bigger guys. I weigh in at about 305. I'm 6'2", and I feel like some days I eat quite a bit, and yet when I was doing that, I was required to eat more, and there was days where I was like, I don't want to eat anymore.
Yeah.
And like doing the 75 hard and counting your macros, like you were talking about, there was days where you just like had to get that last meal in.
Oh yeah. So like when you're a bigger person, like your body naturally burns more calories throughout the day, so you naturally need to eat more to like maintain your body weight. But if you go like, that's why it's safer to start with like maybe like 100 to 300 calories less than your maintenance goal, like your maintenance calories, because that's a good way to start losing weight and to like kind of adjust where your body's at. Like do that for like a week or two, see how much weight you lose, because then you can go down another like 150 and just do that until you are losing weight at the rate that is safe and comfortable for you.
But I think with that, because, and I mean, I see it everywhere, and like that correlates back to his question, is that everybody talks about calorie deficit, and automatically people correlate that with less food. Calorie deficit doesn't mean eat less. Calorie deficit means you need to get your food in, make sure that it's good food for you, that it's going to be, you're going to pack all your nutrients that you need, and that you're actually, because people, when they start tracking calories, they'll say, oh, well, I can go have a burger, and yeah, they just consumed, half of their day's calories, but then they're not eating enough and their body's not. You also have to make sure that your food has the proper nutrients, that you're consuming the right types of food. You don't have to go, like I said, chicken and rice or vegetables and, chicken. Like, you can eat regular food, but you still have to make sure that you're eating enough and that you're feeding your body properly. I think that's the important part. Yeah. Because, and that's the big thing, is that like right now I see it everywhere, like I said, calorie deficit, calorie deficit, calorie deficit. But people correlate that wrong. And if you're going to track your calories, track them properly. Like, that's a big thing that even I struggled with. Like, tracking your calories properly. Like,
because you have to take into consideration, like, when you're looking at chicken or ground beef, what percent fat is it? Is it 93% lean, 80% lean, whatever? Like, that changes a lot. People don't put in, like, if you're cooking, you put a couple sprays of olive oil. People don't count that. Because olive oil has a lot of calories in it. It's fat. It's fat. Like condiments, if you put like a squirt of mustard on your burger or your hot dog, people aren't really going to count it, because like, I don't even know how much it was. But like that all adds up at the end of the day. Like your sodium content, like all of that stuff at the end of the day can either like, I mean, it's probably going to hurt you, but like sometimes like it'll sneak up on you and it'll help you. Like you're like, oh, I'm still not eating enough, but then those little calories that you miss are actually like you're right on track. But that's usually not the case.
Yeah. Well, I hope that helps, and I think I want to try and get Taiwan on as a guest, because I think that he could
That'd be cool.
Bring a lot of cool insight as well. So we'll try and get that set up. All right. Next question here. All right. So I'm going to jump to question number 2 real quick. I'm going to read it to you here. And Liz submitted this. So what are the benefits of chocolate milk post-workout? And can I count laughing really hard on my couch as a workout? Because if it's a good reason to drink chocolate milk, I'll do it. So obviously, you know what? I'm going to say this straight out. Laughing really hard does burn calories. I don't know if it's going to help anybody achieve what they want to achieve. And, obviously your core strength might get a little, but you'd have to laugh a lot. But what do you think? Chocolate milk post-workout?
So I don't remember exactly what it was, but I've seen this before. And you have to laugh for like 450 minutes to eat like a bag of M&Ms or something like that.
Shit, I can tell a bunch of shitty jokes then.
I bet. Chocolate milk is my favorite, like always. So if you want like a healthier chocolate milk that you can use like after a workout, Fairlife, their chocolate milk or their chocolate protein shakes are amazing.
Yeah,
they taste like chocolate milk. They're delicious.
Nice. Well,
it's a good substitute for regular chocolate.
Plus, isn't there something to do with like the sugar after a workout, like for the?
Yeah, it's good to replenish your sugar level, or your sugars after a workout because your glycerol levels go low after you work out because you use it. I think that's what they're called.
Glycerin or glycerin? No, glycerin's a
triglycerides. No.
Well, I hope that answers that one. And then the first question that was submitted, and I think we both got an opinion on this one. All right. The question was, and also from Liz, so appreciate the questions. I know it's off season, but what is your stance on the targeting rule? I've read that there are studies showing that targeting plays increase the risk of concussion, and that is why they have a penalty in place. What penalties would you propose if you don't agree with the current rules? So I'm going to throw this out here. Targeting, obviously, so when I was growing up playing football, we were taught to hit with the top of our helmet. Not as like a best practices, but as like you want to knock the motherfucker out. That's how you're going to do it. And you lunge your whole body at him. So obviously there was an intention there. I do think that right now some of the targeting penalties are a little too harsh, or they're too... I mean, look, you can tell when a guy is purposely trying to get somebody and whack him in the head, in the face with their helmet, and literally are targeting them. I also think you can tell, like I've watched, and I mean, I watch football all the time during the season, so like I see a bunch of plays where you're like, the guy didn't mean to, like he was, the running back was going, he put his head down, the wide receiver like tucked his helmet down, like, and they're not trying to hit the guy in the helmet. I think that if you can tell and it's clear, like from the video, that they weren't shooting for their head, like I think that it's a, maybe a 5-yard roughing roughing the receiver call or something new. But like ejecting a player from a game and all this shit, like when it's intentional and you can tell it's intentional, yeah, throw that motherfucker out. When it's an accidental, like just bam, bam play, like 5-yard penalty maybe, if that. If not, just, hey, it's football, let him play. As long as the guy's not injured, good, let's all go. What do you think?
So, I don't think I disagree with you at all. I think I agree with what you were saying. But I don't think the targeting rules now are bad. I think they're
too harsh.
I don't think they're too harsh. I think that there was too many instances where it was on accident, but it still happened. So
yeah, but that's the
it's always going to still happen on accident, even if it's. I mean, it might happen on purpose, but it'll always happen. It's football. But if you can get the players to think about it more, okay, I got to keep my fucking head out of the play. It's going to reduce the risk of injury. And that's to come. It's what, 2 years into this targeting rule? 1 year? I don't even know. No, it's 2 years.
2 years
1 year for the fucking celebration shit. That I don't agree with. But the taunting rule, that shit's bullshit. But I just think that it'll help with the players subconsciously thinking okay, I got to keep my head out of the play. It'll reduce injury.
I mean, I get that, but I also think that it's you eject everybody gets ejected if it's decided as targeting, even if it's not on purpose. There are times where they could have tackled a different way, and there are times where it just happens. Yeah. I don't think that you should get ejected if it just happens, but who knows? Let's jump into the next question. All right, from John. With the increase in interest rates, will housing costs go down some? So this is a really good question, and obviously I talk to my clients quite a bit about this because interest rates jumped. Again, interest rates, while they seem high, we've been really lucky that they were down in the 2s and, the low 3s. But with that being said, so when you talk to real estate professionals, mortgage professionals, you think that it would bring down the cost of, homes, but right now the problem is that there's still a lot of people shopping. There's a high demand for homes. The interest rates going up obviously price some people out of the market, but there's still a huge demand. So like everybody learns in economics back in the day, supply and demand is what drives our economy, right? The problem is that right now we have two things. We have a abundance of buyers, and we still have quite a few cash buyers that sold previously that are looking for the right house. Once the cash buyers start to subside and, there's less people that are in demand for homes, we could see prices come down a little bit because as supply and demand dictates, not enough demand, you get more supply. So little by little, supply builds up, the prices come down. It'll happen eventually. Prices will come down. They've kind of leveled out, but obviously we can't predict when they'll come down. So I hope that answers that. The next question we got was, should I buy a house in Rocky Point and Airbnb it? Yeah. Absolutely. If it's the right deal, do it. But the biggest thing is that make sure the numbers work. My biggest advice would be check to see, the Airbnbs surrounding that same area, how, what their booked rate looks like. There's a couple different websites, and, I'll shoot them over to you. But there's a couple different websites that actually track this, like vacancy rates. But I would say absolutely. Any investment that, can put cash flow in your pocket, fucking do it. So that's an easy one. Yeah. You want to buy an investment property, as long as as the numbers work, do it. So that's all of our questions for today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. All right, man. So I'm going to go quantum leap into a timeline where I am eating some food and relaxing for the next couple hours. Because I don't know why, but I think talking about the multiverse gave me a headache.
Really?
Yeah, because my mind starts thinking of all these different things, and it's kind of crazy.
I haven't gone to the gym yet today, so I'm feeling antsy, so I'm going to go do that probably.
I went to the gym beforehand. I worked chest and shoulders today.
Is that why they look small?
Yeah, that's why I look small, you little fucking... Yeah. Anyways.
It's crazy how fucking gigantic your shoulders look. You look like this naturally, like all the time.
Yeah, well, it's not easy being cheesy. All right, guys. So, little ass Batman over there and Superman checking out for today. It's been a great episode. All right, guys. This will drop. And, guys, 5-star review. Always appreciate it. If you guys want to leave a comment when you leave a review, where can they reach you? And what's all your info, bro?
Okay, so Angel Big Legs Desma on Instagram. Any questions you may have about anything.
All right, and if they want to go get a free day pass to the gym?
Yeah, you have to hit me up for that first because the gym is 24/7 access, so it's always locked, only to members. You have to have a key card to get in. So hit me up, I'll get you a free day pass, and hopefully sign you up because it's an awesome gym. It's at Be Strong Powerhouse.
I want to go back and fucking lift up those logs, dude. All right, Be Strong Powerhouse. And guys, if you want to reach me, have any real estate questions, or are interested in selling your house, reach out to me. Realtor520 Raul. Instagram, don't really use my Twitter, but in there. Facebook, all of that. Reach out to me, and or you can just shoot us a DM. And I'm going to say this because I never say this. If you guys want to get in touch with us and you don't want to bother looking up our socials, just shoot us a DM on the podcast Instagram.
Oh, yeah. We both have access to it.
Yeah, we both have access to it. So shoot us a message. All right, guys. Have a great morning, noon,
Morning, noon, and night.
Morning, noon, and night. And we're signing off for today.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Have a good one.